Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. After what feels like an eternity after starting this project, we are finally getting around to the final Group 1 car review, which means the next video for this series will be my definitive ranking of every single car that is in the Group 1 category. And well, I've probably saved the best till last, or at least the most iconic. Of course, I'm talking about the Mazda 787B, a firm fan favourite and a Japanese legend among racing cars. So let's start off with the price point itself. This is a car that does fluctuate. At the time of recording this section in January, it was 3.3 million credits. However, this can fluctuate up and down, of course, with the Hagerty Legend prices, which get updated usually every 3 to 4 months. It's a Group 1 car with a PP rating of 842.50. As you can see, displacement a little bit strange on this one, 754x4cc, so times 4. Drivetrain MR, 690 brake horsepower, weighing only 830 kilograms, and is naturally aspirated. Overall, on paper, it really doesn't scream too much. However, this is a serious bit of kit. But before we get into talking about the car in terms of Gran Turismo 7 and I guess Gran Turismo games of old, we'll of course first talk about its racing history. So the Mazda 787B was from 1990 till 1991. It took part in a total of 21 races, got 1 single win, 0 poles and 0 fastest laps. However, of course, what this car is most famous for is the 1991 Le Mans 24-hour victory. Now, in terms of the overall pace of this car, it wasn't really renowned for that. Overall, it didn't have that much one-lap pace, especially up against the likes of Porsche and obviously Mercedes-Benz. However, what both this and the Nissans had of that era was incredible reliability, and it would end up paying off for Mazda in 1991 when it took that famous 24-hour of Le Mans victory. Now, in terms of the car itself, all the way up until 2018, this was the only Japanese car to actually ever win the 24-hour of Le Mans. Also, in terms of a record that still stands today, this is the only car to win Le Mans that wasn't using a reciprocating engine. I truly feel if other manufacturers hadn't have left the prototype LMP1 category towards 2018 and a few years after, I honestly feel like the 787B really would have stood for even longer as Japan's only Le Mans winner. Now, in terms of the car that actually went on to win, which was the 787B Chassis 002, this car was retired outright straight after that very famous victory. However, the rest of the chassis, mainly the 2 extra ones, did actually go on to continue to compete at least for the rest of 1991 before being retired outright. So on paper at least, this doesn't look like the most significant car going. However, the records this thing set at the time and that stood for many years cannot be understated. This really is a true legendary Group C racer. Now, of course, ever since that very famous win from the early 2000s onwards, this car managed to feature itself in pretty much every racing franchise that's been available. It's a very renowned car for being pretty much plastered in almost every track racing sim or simcade or even arcade racer for the longest time, and it does seem to be a mainstay and probably always will be. And of course, it's been in Gran Turismo games prior, and well, it was back in Gran Turismo 7 in probably the best detail we've ever seen for the 787B model. But when it comes to Gran Turismo 7, does it manage to find itself sitting in a no man's land of being a fairly average but legendary Group C race car, or does it manage to separate itself from the rest of the field? And I'm happy to report that this is probably, if not the best car in the entirety of Gran Turismo 7. When it comes to BOP and racing against other Group C machinery, this thing is absolutely unstoppable thanks to its incredible incredible tyre and fuel life. It really is absolutely ridiculous just how good this rotary engine monster truly is. And of course, even when the BOP's off, this honestly stands out as being probably the best 800 pp car in the entirety of Gran Turismo 7. It's not really a close contest at all. And of course, all of this is made absolutely incredible thanks to the fact that it's a Group 1 race car, so its tyre life is of course built for endurance racing, and well, that rotary engine is insanely kind on fuel consumption. It really does stand out from almost anything that is available in this game. With a relatively low price point ranging from anywhere from 2 to 3 million, it isn't going to break the bank either. This is probably the best investment you can ever make in Gran Turismo 7, period. Whilst yes, with some fine tuning this can become an absolute monster, in its standard form the same thing applies like it did in real life. It isn't really about the one lap pace with the 787B, it's more about the experience, that beautiful screaming rotary engine, and couple that with incredible fuel and tyre life, and this really is a proper endurance racer without a doubt. It's incredible what this car can do, and for me it is absolutely no doubt my favourite Group 1 race car in this entire game. In all honesty, I don't think anything can really compete with it. Whilst of course there is other Group C machinery available in Gran Turismo 7, none of them can really do what the 787B does. Again, with the correct tune, it stands miles apart as the fastest and most aggressive of the Group C machinery, and couple that with still incredible tyre and fuel consumption. No matter how you tune this thing, it really is almost unstoppable. So when it comes to being an in-game vehicle, absolutely, in my opinion, this might just be the overall best car, not just in Group 1, but the best car in the entirety of Gran Turismo 7. There's a few cars that probably come slightly close to it, but in all honesty, that incredible sound, the long range on this thing, and just the absolute iconic appearance of it, I just don't think it can be matched. So not only in real life was this a legend straight from Japan, in terms of its video game presence as well, it is very much worthy of that legendary tag. Overall, this is a fantastic machine that really needs to be properly driven and experienced. So let's head over and see how it managed to lap our Nordschleife on our 1 lap test. Now I'm going to be totally honest, it did not manage to make it in the top 20. Outright in both 900 pp and overall. It really was topped. It did manage to finish with a time in the 5-minute barrier, but it was just ever so slightly bettered by almost everything else, unfortunately. However, take 5 minutes to turn your head to tune in this thing and it honestly becomes the best of the best, and it's really no match at all. It's an insanely useful car, it sounds incredible, it's probably one of the most iconic looking vehicles to ever hit the racetrack. This is the Mazda 787B, and this is absolutely a car that you have to drive and experience. And with that, we finally conclude my first big project of 2024. That is every single Group 1 car in this game single-handedly reviewed. Next up, it will be my definitive ranking, and well, you can probably guess which car is at least going to be very, very high up that list, if not the best. However, there still is 20 odd other vehicles that we will need to put in this ranking. Massive thank you for joining me on my first big project of 2024. I'll try and get that list out in the next couple of weeks. Anyway, have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care, guys. Peace.